Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between StyGGeN and Satiini here on Scrap Station. StyGGeN spawning as the green Zerg player. Meanwhile, we have Satiini spawning as the light blue Terran player or the sky blue Terran player over here at the 3 o'clock position. Now, a couple of people were wondering why any of the players start promoting websites during the game. They actually do not promote their websites. A lot of the websites out there are now able to open up a replay file and then insert their website name in order to do a little bit of advertisement. So yeah, these players are not promoting the game. They are just it's the website owners making it very, very obvious where you got this replay from. We do see back over here now a supply depot being built on the low ground, so a little bit of a curious positioning on this low ground supply depot. I've never seen a low ground supply depot over here on this very, very wide choke point, as we now see a very early SCV on the move. Back over here, you see StyGGeN not going for a 6 pool, will not be doing any very, very heavy rush as this SCV makes its way around the map. One of the curious things is, where will Satiini's barracks be placed? That is a good key question, as there is one SCV out over here. I cannot imagine that the barracks would be built off of this SCV. Back over here, it looks as though where is the barracks being built? I do not see where the barracks are currently being built, and it may be built. No, it's not. Where is it being built? So now currently sitting on 175 minerals, and now just looking over here, and he may be doing a very, very early fast expansion attempt as he sees an SCV now coming, or a drone coming down to 4 hit points. So natural regeneration for the win for StyGGeN, and now in comes some additional drones as well. So this Satiini now moving around will be able to set up perhaps an early command center down over here, and now the Zerg player will not be able to get that strong of an economic lead unless StyGGeN cancels this hatchery and then tries to make a spawning pool, and then rushes with those Zerglings. So Satiini now getting this command center over here at the natural expansion, and this will be a very long economic game, most likely, as both sides do not have any army whatsoever. We do see a refinery being placed down and a barracks now being placed down finally by Satiini. So Satiini opening up with a very interesting, what I would call, I believe that was a 15 or 16 command center build, followed with another another barracks being placed down over here. StyGGeN now getting that spawning pool, nearing completion on that spawning pool. He may save up a lot of larvae. Actually, it does not look like he's saving up that many larvae for any early rush. Instead, going for that extractor, transferring some drones over, and now just playing a standard meta game, not going to try to abuse the fact that Satiini went for I believe a 16 or a very, very early command center before a Rax. Back over here, we do see a barracks now training up some Marines, and now one supply depot being placed down over here. So this one SCV may have a little bit of an issue trying to run away from this drone. That drone still has full hit points, so this drone may get his man here in this fight. What will happen? And now double repairing with 2 SCVs, and now able to fight back. So Stevie and his 2 twin brothers, or I guess triplet brothers, able to fight back, and now we see one Marine on the low ground. However, the Marine on the low ground was unable to shoot against that one drone, and now that drone going to grow up to be an extractor, perhaps trying to deny any early gas. Taking a look back at StyGGeN. StyGGeN does not know about this expansion just quite yet. There is an Overlord now making its way, and now upgrading to a orbital command center. So Satiini now transferring some SCVs over here. Now StyGGeN realizes that the economic lead that he thought he had is not truly in play, especially now that Satiini is able to get double mules. You will see with that double mule, he will be able to mine a little bit more quickly, even though he is currently behind on harvesters. We now have 2 Marines now making their way over here to take down this extractor, and this Overlord just trying to do some additional scouting. At this stage in the game, I am curious as to what Satiini is going to transition into. The economic game has already been set by both players, so this game should be transitioning into the middle game at this point. If you look at the production tab, you see upgrading to tier 2 for StyGGeN. Meanwhile, the Hellions are now already being trained out of this one factory. However, there are no tech labs for any of these buildings, so you will not be able to create those higher tier units. No marauders, no siege tanks, just units that do not require any gas. So far, we're now going into a double starport, so Satiini may be trying to transition into Banshees. Banshees are probably the only viable option that I can see at this stage in the game. he should be getting an additional refinery over here in just a moment as well. Off of 3 refineries, he will be able to train, I believe, what is that, 3 Banshees at a time? Yeah, it's approximately 3 Banshees at a time, and now Satiini getting that 3rd starport, so he may be going into a triple starport Banshee harassment play with Marines to act as a little bit of support here. So very, very curious opening, and now we do see a tech lab being placed down. Are we going to get 2 additional tech labs as well? That would really, really indicate that we are going for mass Banshees. I cannot imagine Satiini trying to go for mass Ravens at this point in the game. We do see 1 Hellion. That Hellion did not get any kills, so I didn't miss any harassment there as the Hellion just tried to run up this ramp. We do see a Spire now coming into play, so StyGGeN with that Spire will be able to get a lot of Mutalisks, and Mutalisks are obviously stronger than Banshees. We do have a fair amount of Marines now, and now with a reactor and a reactor, so we're going into Banshee Viking. So we are going to be able to train up 4 Vikings and 1 Banshee at a time, and that will be a very, very strong Air Force indeed. Another starport being built somewhere else. Where is that additional? Another starport. So Satiini going into mass starport. This is something I have yet to see in all of my games shoutcasted so far. Metabolic boost now research onto those Zerglings. 4 Zerglings countering a Hellion. Yeah, I'm kind of sad. I thought Hellions were there to try to counter Zerglings. Anyways, we have a couple of these units back over, looking over here, we have StyGGeN now with an Overlord in the back, trying to make sure that no harassment comes in from the back. We also see 1 Banshee out, and in comes an Overseer. So an Overseer doing a good job using that contaminate ability in order to stop the production off of these starports. So these starports will take an additional, I believe, 50 units of time in order to just train up 1 Soul Viking. So that 1 Viking now out in the air and now going to do some additional scouting. Not quite sure why Satiini didn't cancel this Viking and then train it off of the 2nd starport, since he did have reactors. 1 Overseer still flying around the map. The Overseers do not have the movement upgrades, and we do see a couple missile turrets. So 1 missile turret over here, strategically placed another over here. Missile turrets basically do the same damage as 4 Marines, so that is why they are so strong against those Mutalisks. If you ever wonder why they're able to deal that much damage. We do have back over here a hatchery now being placed down by StyGGeN. So StyGGeN now going for a hatchery down over here, and now 5 Vikings being trained. That is a fair amount of Vikings, and now Satiini going off of 4 starports in order to try to combat and keep up with the Air Force of StyGGeN. We have currently 6 Vikings in the air, 3 more Vikings currently being trained, and now no level 1 weapons upgrade, as we are also getting an armory. We are getting the level 1 flyer attack and some banelings with that centrifugal hooks or the movement upgrades coming in as well. So Vikings now in the air. Vikings should probably be trying to go for some Overlord hunting in just a moment, as we now see a group of Mutalisks trying to come in and deal some damage towards that missile turret. That missile turret able to get off 1 kill, and now a group of Vikings quickly getting off a round of those Lancer torpedoes, taking down a lot of those units there. So you can now see only 6 Mutalisks left. Taking a look at the loss tab, yeah, 8 units lost, 725 resources. So I believe 3 to 4 Mutalisks were taken down relatively easily. Another hatchery being placed down by StyGGeN, and now StyGGeN, being the good Zerg player, just playing Zerg as they should be, expanding all across the map. So the Terran player will only be able to run off of 3 bases and may quickly fall behind in this economic game. We see the centrifugal hooks about nearing, or what, 2/3 of the way, as more Mutalisks continuing to be trained. So I believe what Satiini is trying to counter Mutalisks and Zergling with Marines and Vikings. So it's going to be Marine Viking versus Zerg Mutaling. And now we have a couple of these Vikings now in the air, just going more and more Overlord hunting. All of those Overlords just getting shot out of the sky, now down to 192. And now 1 round of those Lancer torpedoes able to shoot down 1 very, very vulnerable Mutalisk there, as these Vikings now continue to just move around the map. They do not have the level 1 weapon upgrade, as that Viking now trying to chase that group of Mutalisks. That Mutalisk, however, will be able to come in, and down goes 1 Mutalisk, a 2nd Mutalisk trying to use that shoot and scoot tactic as more Vikings coming in. So many Vikings in the air, and the StyGGeN just losing a lot of these units here as those Mutalisks trying to close in on that attack distance. StyGGeN not even microing any of his Mutalisks, not trying to get the heck out of that fight, and down they go. Army-wise, you can see Satiini now sitting on a 1,600 mineral army and just completely owning the skies of the Zerg player now continuing the power drone. So with that power drone, we see that he's still behind, sitting at 58 harvesters compared to Satiini's 69. However, because StyGGeN has this gold mineral location over here and is able to mine essentially off of 24 minerals plus 6 additional gold minerals, has the stronger economy even with less excuse me, even with less harvesters and even with mules currently in play. Actually, no mules in play as the orbital command just continuing to mass up more and more energy. Vikings coming over here does not want to land as there is currently just one Banshee in the air. That one Banshee, however, going to try to fight against this one Queen over here, and we have a quick cloak by that Banshee, so that Banshee able to get off a little bit more damage continually. We should be seeing an Overseer coming in just a moment as these Vikings are just sitting over here trying to chase after that Banshee, that Queen down to 25 hit points. It will get taken down and down. Oh no, does not taken down to 5 hit points. So that was a little bit of a mistake there. As the Banshee now coming over here to try to deal damage on that one Queen. More Vikings just trying to use that shoot and scoot method as more Vikings in the air. A nice transfusion by StyGGeN. And now those Queens just trying to put pressure onto those Vikings. However, one Banshee in the air able to take down that one Queen. And now we see that Banshee just trying to deal more and more damage. We now have a fleet of Vikings in the air. Taking a look at the production tab, more Mutalisks being trained. Not quite sure why StyGGeN does not go for some sort of some tech switch. With so many Vikings in the air, Satiini now with that level 1 weapons upgrade on those Vikings are dealing 22 damage per round of attack, and also able to deal 30 damage per round of attack against armored units such as those Overlords. Overlords do not stand a chance when you have so many Vikings in the air. However, there is one Queen on the ground. Will these Vikings just simply land and take down this Queen? Not quite sure. Yeah, gonna go ahead and quickly land. However, Zerglings quickly coming into position as well. There are a lot of those Zerglings, and now the Vikings just gonna jump back up into the air and now continue to own the rest of the Mutalisks once again. One Queen trying to get in on this fight. Back over here, we do see this Banshee still continuing to rack up those kills as this fight continues. So now this one Queen is probably the pretty much hero of this fight so far, as that Queen was able to rack up a lot of damage against those Vikings, even though he did not get that many critical shots off or the killing blows down. We now see a Banshee currently cloaking and wants to get some more Queen blood. That Queen now down to 147 hit points, continuing to take those blows. Vikings now in the air trying to fight back against more and more of those Mutalisks. Another Mutalisk getting taken down. Mutalisks coming in one at a time, and that is not how you want to be playing the Zerg army. The Zerg army is simply wants to swarm their target. If they come in a single file line like that, they are just going to get shot down out of the sky oh so quickly. Queens now on the ground. And now StyGGeN needs to change up these units, perhaps Hydralisks, perhaps something else, get more creep tumors down, try to make sure that they are more, make sure that those Queens have higher mobility. We now see destructible debris down over here as we now are getting the level 2 weapons upgrade. Zerglings getting shot by the Crucio cannon of these siege tanks as these Vikings now just continue to fly around in the air, getting a lot of proper sighting. These Vikings will have level 2 weapons upgrade in just a second, and now we probably need to get some SCVs in order to repair against all of these Vikings. We also see a couple of Spore Crawlers in play. So with those Spore Crawlers in play, these Vikings will have a much more difficult time, and now trying to go after more of those Mutalisks. And now with so many Vikings in the air, once again, sitting on, I believe, 14 Vikings. Those Vikings will be able to deal a lot of damage. However, Queens on the ground, and now Zerglings and Banelings on the ground as well, offering a lot of support. The siege tank needs to start blasting away. Marines also trying to come in as well, getting a lot of damage across all these Queens, and these Queens are now just walking very, very slowly. Banelings, however, going to simply run into this fight here, and this is not looking good. Banelings just simply rolling over all of these Marines. Siege tank trying to blast away at more and more. However, those Banelings will find their target. Down goes one swarm of Marines, another swarm of Marines, and down it goes. And this whole entire Marine force pretty much down to a skeleton crew of 2 Marines left. We do see a lot of Hydralisks now in play, so StyGGeN changing up his army and now has the proper counter units. With Hydralisks and Zerglings, he will be able to counter those Vikings very, very easily, as those Vikings need to come into that ground mode, and as soon as they get into that ground mode, those Zerglings will simply surround their target. And the 3 seconds it takes to go from air mode to ground mode, those Hydralisks will also be racking up those kills. We do have a couple of Banshees now in the air as well, and now Satiini trying to take this expansion over here. This is a limited expansion, only with 6 mineral patches, so it is significantly weaker than normal island expansion, as these Zerglings now continue to run around the map. Stay tuned for part 2 of this replay between Satiini and StyGGeN here on Scrap Station.